What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. I feel like this episode might be a little short because it's just a bunch of nothing going on. Y'all know when there's stuff going on, but really ain't nothing. Like it's stuff, but it really ain't nothing. And I'm on vacation this week. Low key, I'm off. Okay. I came in here. I ain't want to shut down for the week again because I did that before. But baby, I'm about to get in and out of this. Okay. I got to take a nap. I'm tired. So, some of the things that have been happening this week, and I won't say a bunch of nothing because these are very important. But y'all know some weeks it just feel like some major shit just going on. I mean, these have relevance, I will say, especially, the ones that I kind of picked to discuss. So first let's get into Ironheart. Ironheart on Disney Plus is a Marvel television show led by Dominique Thorne. If y'all remember, if you watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever, she played the character of Riri Williams, which is Ironheart. And again, I'm not a comic book nerd, so I'm gonna give what I believe is the case. Y'all know Tony Stark, Iron Man is gone. He done went on to be with him. Okay. If you watch Infinity War and Endgame, you know Tony Stark done went on to be with him. Even though Robert Downey Jr. is coming back for Avengers Doomsday, which they're filming now, and he is going to be playing Doctor Doom. From what I speculate, in some comic books, they were saying that Tony Stark came back as Doctor Doom in some version in the multiverse. Who knows? But he back, but he ain't Iron Man. Riri Williams isn't Iron Man, but she uses similar technology. And in Wakanda Forever, she was introduced. She was the smart young woman who Namor and them basically her technology was used to try to find vibranium. She got looped in that way. Got kidnapped with Shuri and all of that. Well, the spinoff Ironheart, her own series, 6-episode series. It's been in the works for and in production, pre-production, post for maybe 2 years now. It's been a long time. They filmed this a while ago. Executive produced by Ryan Coogler. He did not direct them. He EP'd them. So they finally announced that Ironheart was coming in June. Great. And they started to really announce it after Sinners came out, which is smart. However, people started noticing, I noticed it myself, that there was very minimal press promo for Ironheart. At one point, it seemed like Disney were trying to hide the fact that Ironheart was coming out. It was really weird, especially coming off of the like wave of Sinners. Sinners is not a Disney Plus movie, but it does have the same team behind it, meaning Ryan Coogler and co. I would think that you would maximize off of that buzz and hit the promo and press for this extremely hard to say executive produced by Ryan Coogler. No, they didn't do it. We started to see a promo run maybe like a week before the show dropped. But I know I personally did not like how they did this. It seemed like they were purposely not putting no steam behind it. But what simultaneously started to happen, y'all know on Rotten Tomatoes, they open it up to for shows to be reviewed maybe a couple days before things drop. And in some cases, depending on what the show or the movie is, press or some critics get access to view it early, right? With screenings and everything. With Ironheart, that did not seem like that was the case. It didn't seem like there were a lot of early screenings, so everybody got to watch it at the same time. But weirdly, and not weirdly, once you hear what I got to say, because you probably are not surprised like I am. Before it even came out, people were leaving extremely negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's bad. They should have kept this. This is dumb. Why are they doing this? We don't need an Iron Man replacement. Why is she this? It's a DEI show. All of these things, which is interesting because the show didn't even come out. So how do you know it was bad to give a review? Come to find out, there were streamers, channels, bloggers, all kind of people who I guess consider themselves comic book nerds or just all around haters, were purposely review bombing the show, but weren't smart enough to at least wait until the show actually came out to leave your negative reviews, which proves my point. And I don't know if I said this on Black News. I'm sure I had to say this at some point. Racists are usually really dumb. How you gonna be racist and dumb? But racism in itself is dumb, so it makes sense. So people caught wind of it and purposely started to call them out on social media to say, that's interesting. You left a review, dumbass. The show isn't even on. So what are you watching to report on it? So when it finally aired, Black people, because we got to come through, made an effort to watch the show, start the conversation on social media about it. Critics then started posting because they actually got a chance to watch and got the reviews back up on Rotten Tomatoes to an 86% critics review. But because the fan reviews were so bad before it even came out because of the racist review bombing, they got it up to a 53% popcorn meter, which again, it doesn't really match because usually those two are on par, especially when a movie is good. But in this case, it's clear what happened. So why do people do this? I will say, I just can't imagine being a loser. Like, I just can't imagine waking up and knowing something is coming out, coming on, something will be released, and saying to myself, I haven't seen this, but I'm going to give it a negative review because I'm mad. And for not just one person to do it, for multiple people to do it, and to not have any conscience or to not even be smart enough to wait until the actual show came on. So even just so it can kind of even look like you're justified and know what you're talking about. Like what is wrong with these people? And it's so fascinating how people just don't be embarrassed. Like I just like you're not embarrassed. You're not embarrassed. Like there's no shame in that. People just take it. People got called out for doing it. Like you're being racist and you review bombing them, and they just took it on the chin. Like okay, and they just kept it moving. Like which is why I see why people like Ryan Coogler did not say what the premise of a movie like Sinners was before it came out. We didn't know what Sinners was until we started seeing them previews. And even with that, we really didn't know. We just heard, oh, maybe some vampires. But even when the bidding war happened and it was announced that they're in pre-production, we were like, it's set in the South. Vampire? We had no idea. People were saying it was going to be the next Blade. Nothing like it. But I can see this is exactly an example why people be tight-lipped about their work and their projects. Because imagine if a Black director, producer, anybody announces a Black show in this climate where people are more and more empowered to bring their racist selves to the forefront. Imagine if they would have said from the jump, Michael B. Jordan is starring as twins in 1932, Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the Jim Crow South, in the back end of the Great Depression. We're talking about the blues. There's some vampires, Irish culture, all this other stuff. Child, they would have ate that up, and it would have been another situation of why does it have to be about race? Why does it have to be in 1932 Mississippi, the Klan? Why did it be the Klan? There were even reports of people watching Sinners across the country where it got to the Klan part, and they said white people was walking out. Why? The Klan was being bad. Like, I just, y'all, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I just, racists are never embarrassed, and I just don't understand why. I have not watched Ironheart yet. I have not had the time. I want to low key wait till all 6 episodes are out because I don't want to be stopping and starting. Like, I need to get all my shows, the episodes in. I need it all right now. But we should definitely support this show, and I'm gonna support it as well. People also on the during the premiere asking and talking to Ryan Coogler about Black Panther 3. Y'all know he tight lip. He just said he working on it. Based on speculation and rumors, they gonna probably recast T'Challa. Damson Idris was on a press run for F1. He's in that movie with Brad Pitt, which is out now. And he was asked on, I think maybe CBS or Good Morning America, one of the network shows, morning talk shows, if he has been spoken to about Black Panther. And he was very coy and didn't really answer, which means that he probably has at least been talked to, because I honestly think when they cast a role like this, it could be very straightforward where they know who they want. But in a lot of cases, they toss a very wide net. I would not be surprised if every Black actor who was attractive, can act, in shape, and has the ability to do accents, I wouldn't be surprised if they've contacted and started initial conversations or auditions or anything with all of those people. So personally, I feel like if you ask John Boyega that, um, Damson Idris, I don't think Yahya, because Yahya Abdul Mateen II is already Wonder Man. I believe that's what he is in Marvel. So he's out. I feel like they probably met with, you name an attractive Black actor who is in shape, who can do accents. If they had the conversation, I'm willing to bet that all the answers have been yes. I'm willing to bet that. So when we talk about the super fans being crazy and doing the most, child, they're gonna do the most with that. And if they smart, they won't announce who it is until that multiverse T'Challa pop up on the screen during whatever Marvel movie or show he's introduced in. So we'll see. But y'all support Ironheart. I definitely will. And if you've already watched it, let me know your thoughts. I heard it was really good. Heard it had good soundtrack, good music, supervision, good acting, good storyline. Yeah, just all around a good time. So let me know your thoughts about it. You can find me at Canelia on social media. As of today, and I'm recording this podcast on Tuesday, Tuesday of the week that this episode drops. I drop these on Thursday. If you watch on YouTube, they drop or are uploaded on Sundays. As of today, Tuesday, when it comes to the Diddy trial, and y'all know I ain't really been reporting on this. It's only there's conflict. There's only so much I can talk about. Not direct conflicts with him, but for, if you know me, you know why. But I'm gonna give a high level because as of today, Tuesday, a partial verdict has been reached. They have not made the announcement of what that verdict is, because you got to have a ruling on all the verdicts. They have to reach an agreement on all of those. But there has been a verdict reached on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And per the jury, in the note that they submitted to the judge, they say, we have not yet reached a verdict on count 1 because we have unpersuadable jurors on both sides. That specifically is the charge that falls under the Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations, or the RICO, which, as y'all know, is usually used to prosecute the mob and drug cartels. So there's a partial verdict. Who knows which way it's going to go in? I will read what those charges relate to, but I'll be having conversations with this, and people always now the conversation have shifted to, what do you think is going to happen? Right? What you think going to happen? In my honest opinion, I don't know, and I wouldn't be surprised regardless of what is decided by the jury. But I will say this, and this is just my personal opinion based on what I've witnessed. I've watched a a video that was uploaded to YouTube. Y'all know the content creator. I'm not a lawyer, but her name's Mel. She was saying she went into the courtroom and the jury was one of the most diverse juries she's ever seen when it comes to age, race, demographic backgrounds. She was like, it's very diverse, which is not surprising for New York City because if you in New York City and that jury ain't diverse, it's literally not a representation of that area. You gonna get everything in New York, baby. But from what I assume based on my 42 years of living on this earth and having friends and associates and colleagues and being in the business and outside of the business and just observing people, I really believe that the results are going to come down to which generations are a part of this, by a part of like the jury. Because from my perspective, if people are, and again, no shade, no shade, no shade, allegedly, whatever. This is what I've noticed in conversations about other cases or things that we've seen over the years about how people view assault and sexual violence and drugs and celebrity and men and all of these things under this umbrella. I really believe if people are Gen X and baby boomers, it's gonna be not guilty. From what I observed, Gen X and baby boomers are more likely to excuse acts of violence, sexual violence, assault, drugs, whatever, whoever, by whoever, when it comes to women. For some reason, from what I observed, and again, this ain't a blanket statement, this ain't all, but sometimes they be a little more lenient, turn the other cheek when it comes to those things. If it's majority millennial and Gen Z, the boys cooked. Millennial and Gen Z has a tendency to be a little more strict on bad behavior. We be a little more like, oh nope, Kate, you're done. Cut. Nope, you done. You did what? Nope. Justice for save so and so. None of it. You're cooked. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong because people do, and people have shown us that that is not necessarily the case. But child, that's what I'm thinking. And so the counts, just so we clear, count one, racketeering conspiracy. That is the count that the jurors are still struggling to meet because they have unpersuadable people on both sides. But there has been a decision made on counts 2 through 5. So count two, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. This pertains to victim one, which is Cassie. Count three, transportation to engage in prostitution. This pertains to victim one, Cassie, and commercial sex workers. Count four, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. This pertains to victim number two, which is Jane. And count five, transportation to engage in prostitution. That pertains to victim two and commercial sex workers. Let me just add to under count one, the racketeering conspiracy, there are multiple things that can be met. I think it's like two things that have to be met in order to prove racketeering, which could be, I think it had something to do with like coercion or tampering with evidence, witness tampering, arson, bribery, a few things. So it sounds like they having trouble with that. Now, if they don't come to an agreement, I believe this could lead to a mistrial, which would suck because we would have to do all of this over again. And don't nobody got time for that. But that's where we are. Okay. We just gonna have to see. The court probably gonna shut down on Thursday and Friday because of the holiday. And I know them jurors want to get up out of there. They don't want to come back next week. They be in there from 9 to 5 in that room, talking and eating lunch. So we'll see what happens. When the jury does come back, if they come back with all, this is going to be one of the most talked about things that we've witnessed in a very long time. So I will come back with updates when that does happen. Otherwise, you know what? It is what it is. We're just going to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts, though. Y'all know where to find me. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. Now, with this one, I don't know how legit this is because I've looked up articles and tried to find sources for this and have only been able to find people talking about it on social media and people doing TikTok videos. So, if it is not true, I wouldn't be surprised, but if it is, based on what it's about, I wouldn't also not be surprised that there are no articles or statements made to support this. So, apparently and allegedly, Carnival Cruise Line has put in place a policy that now bans hip hop music from their clubs on the boats, on the ships, and all of their entertaining like parties and things, and have also banned the line dance boots on the ground because of those fans that you have to or that you need to go along with the dance. You know, the splack, a splack, a splack, a splack when you do the booty pop and the fan simultaneously. Okay. I just learned boots on the ground maybe last month. Just side note. Okay. Y'all, it's so many line dances that I don't know. As someone who used to feel, I feel like I used to know all the line dances, y'all. It's just too many at this point. Everybody line dancing now. Okay. We call them hustles. For the Midwest, they a hustle. It's too many hustles. But people on Carnival were saying for the past, like starting like a month ago, that has been the change. And they're saying this is due to Carnival trying to, again, allegedly, trying to cut down on a lot of fighting that has been happening on the ships, a lot of rambunctious behavior that has been happening on the ships. And their resolution to this is to stop playing hip hop on the boat. Now, a few things. I ain't been on a cruise since 1994, probably 95, 94, 95. And I'm not exaggerating. I went on a cruise Carnival Ecstasy to Cozumel, Key West when I was in middle school with my childhood best friend. She is no longer with us. Rest in peace. It was me, my mama, her and her mama, her grandmother and her grandmother's homegirl. It was a girls trip before we was really girls tripping. I had a good old time because I was a young girl and it was my opportunity to go somewhere. I also remember back then on Carnival, it was not cheap to go on that trip. Now, it may not have felt cheap because I was a kid and I don't really know the price point, but my family, we weren't doing bad at all. But we was on a payment plan to pay for that. Okay? We was on a payment plan to pay for that cruise flight, and this was when you dressed up to go to dinner. I don't know if that's still the case now, but I specifically remember dress codes being a little more enforced and putting something nice on every night to go to dinner because you had the reserved seats and it was like the dining restaurant, fine dining. That was the experience. Now, fast forward to now. Again, I have not been on a cruise, but I do see a lot of content and know people who travel and cruise. And now with the multiple and the different cruise lines, Carnival seems to be known as now the party ships. Just looking at what people post, baby, ain't no dress code. Ain't no dress code. And it be black people on that boat. It wasn't that, hey, it's black people on that boat. It looked like Carnival is where black people be going. Then you got Norwegian, Royal Caribbean. You now even have Virgin Cruises. I don't know what those demographics be, but baby, them Carnival boats be jumping. Ladies and young men at home, the club is full of ballers in the pockets full of grown. Okay, I don't know if the ballers in the pockets full of grown be on the ship, but baby, they be partying on them boats, which looks to me if they so packed because they be looking packed. So baby, people spending money. It don't seem like the price point for a lot of cruises are as high as they used to be. But from what I remember, what I recall, and even what I observed, Carnival is one of the cruise lines, the main ones, where you can get a quick 2, 3, not two, but like a 3, 4 day cruise, go somewhere real quick, come back, and even they have the long ones. So they just seem to have more options and more boats, which is going to tailor to multiple different groups of people. You got people with kids. You got people who single, who people who in couples. They don't want to be gone for a long time. You got people who want to travel and want to have affordable travel. Maybe they don't have like a lot of money to go overseas, but they can go on a cruise because it drop you off on a couple islands for a couple hours. Who knows? But whatever Carnival did, and again, I'm just assuming, whatever they did, somehow they found themselves marketed towards black people. Because again, it be black people on them boats. So I'm wondering, with this new alleged policy, what is Carnival's goal outside of trying to cut down on fights? Because if it do it really be fights like that? Because rap music ain't gonna stop no fights. Okay, I'm sorry. Boots on the ground is not F them other fuck them other niggas. Like it is not see murder songs. Okay. It ain't who you with. Like it ain't Pastor Troy, we ready. So is Carnival's goal just to do that? Or is it something else? Because let me tell you, when I say be a lot of black people on them ships, it also be a lot of white people who look like they be there to party as well. Mixed demographics. So what's the goal? Is this just another way to say you don't want no more black people on the boat? And if you don't want no more black people on the boat, is Carnival prepared to lose substantial amounts of money? Do they have a plan in place to pick up the cost of what they might lose on these ships because they no longer um, have a fun environment for people who want to get on these cruise lines just for that reason? It also feels very early 2000s club scene. Remember when the club scene, the dress code at the club changed from, just whatever, whatever the code was to all of a sudden, no baseball caps, no white tees, no jerseys, no baggy pants, no sneakers, no do rags, no this. And they had us wearing business casual to the party. Remember that? Remember the drastic switch from all of that to basically say, we don't want no black people. And if we do have to have black people, you need to come in here with your work clothes on. They had us partying in Pelham tops and blazers. We was in the club with hard bottoms on. And yes, our older generations used to dress up to go to the club as well, but it was a strategic and specific effort geared towards boxing black people out of the club scene. Is this just the no jeans, no jerseys policy, but masked in hip hop music? We can't play that hippity hop. That hippity hop is what's causing the fights on the boat. No more hippity hop. Is that what this is? Is boots on the ground really causing trouble? Is it? There is a man who went viral on social media. I believe he's either on Royal or Norwegian. They call him Mr. Washy Washy. He walk around with a sash on that say Mr. Washy Washy, doing boots on the ground and teaching it the whole cruise ship. Baby, they ain't banning boots on the ground over there. So what is it? But either way, I would be madder than a mug if I went on a vacation that was known for being a party ship and known for having a good time and known for having clubs where I can be entertained and just enjoy myself. And I get up in there and they not playing no hip hop, not even the old hip, because you know they be playing the old stuff. You gonna ban lollipop? Like get out of here. Candy shop? You can't even play candy shop. People are not fighting the candy shop. Give me a break. But on the other side, again, I don't even know how true this is. And if I were Carnival, I would not advertise this. You know the backlash they're gonna get if they post it out, put a statement that said, moving forward, we will not be playing hip hop on the boat because it causes trouble. And you can't do boots on the ground with the fans. Baby, backlash city. Okay. Toe up from the floor. They will get ate up with that. So I think we just got to see how this plays out. And if it's really true, because yeah, I feel like this is gonna be bad for Carnival. I don't see this gonna be going well at all. But let me know your thoughts about it if you even heard about this. Okay, if you've been on a ship within the last month and experienced it yourself, let me know. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about Ironheart, the new show on Disney Plus that was seemingly review bombed but bounced its way back up to an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. We also talked about the jury reaching a partial verdict in the trial against Diddy, and also the alleged new policy around Carnival Cruise, which bans hip hop music and the line dance boots on the ground. Hit me up and let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.